Hi, my name is Glen Kissack. I'm a project manager with AP Maersk Supply Service. I am embedded within the team of our partners at the Ocean Cleanup, and a little while ago we asked you to ask me anything about the Ocean Cleanup project. So first question, what do you do with all the waste that you collect? What about the plastic that can be used for other goods? So of course that's one of the most common questions that we get asked at the Ocean Cleanup, and the answer is that as far as possible we try and recycle everything. So that would probably be difficult if there was a big mix of goods, but actually only certain types of plastic float and only certain types of plastic make it to the centre of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So the first step of the recycling process, of any recycling process, which is sorting out material, is actually kind of done for us already. So we bring the plastic onto the deck of the ship. The first thing that we do is check for the presence of any marine life. The last thing we'd want to do, for example, is to catch a protected species in the system. Thankfully, because of all the careful precautions and preparation that we've put in place and the design of the system, which is shown so far to be very safe for marine life, that's never happened. So we make that check, and then after that we separate the different materials. We put ropes and fibrous plastics, so ropes and nets on one side and all the hard plastics on the other. And the reason we make that separation is because they go to different specialised recycling facilities. And then we take all of that separated material, we bring it back to the shore and we put it into a recycling stream. The whole thing is very carefully monitored and very transparent, so we weigh everything, we seal everything, we tag everything, and the reason for that is we have a monitored logistics chain, so that when somebody gets a product in the end which is made from this material, they know that start to finish it's been monitored and it can be certified as genuine ocean plastic from the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. And the first product that we made to kind of show that this is possible and the material could have a new life and a future is the Ocean Cleanup sunglasses, which are made from recycled ghost nets captured from the Great Pacific Garbage Patch during the System 1B campaign. So second question, do you have any programs for volunteers? How can people join for a short period? Or how could you use volunteers? So two things spring to mind when I get this question. First of all, yes, definitely we do. If you go to the Ocean Cleanup website, then there's a range of positions available. There's operations, engineering, communications, research, but there's also a volunteer position which is always open on there. We operate all over the world and we always love to hear from enthusiastic supporters. The second thing is actually that you can get involved in our citizen science program, and that's something anybody can get involved in. We're a data-driven organisation, we're a research organisation, and the most simple, easiest way that you can get involved in that is to use the Ocean Cleanup app. So what you do there is you count plastic which is in the water. There's two apps available. There's one for rivers and then there's another one for people in boats or on ships who are observing plastics at sea. They're available for both Apple and Android, and they're super easy to use. You just open up the app, you stand and observe the water surface for a period of time. You count plastic that's there, and that's all you need to do, but it's really, really valuable information. It all feeds into the models we have of where plastic is and how it's moving around the world. And that enables us to spot trends in the problem, to position our cleanup efforts to best effect and to really understand where the problem exists around the world. So question 3, what is the hardest part of your job? That for me is just the fact that we're doing something completely different and completely new in a very remote part of the world. And as well as we try and prepare and plan for everything, there's always going to be something different on the day that you didn't expect or that you couldn't plan for. And sometimes that's just because the weather isn't in your favor. And these kind of changes and that dynamic working environment can be very difficult even on land, but when you're in such an isolated environment, everything becomes so much more difficult to cope with. So that's the biggest challenge, but I must say that being part of this team at Maersk Supply Service is a privilege to kind of deal with those problems in that regard, because the experience and the understanding of the offshore teams means that we are able to adapt and we are able to rise up and meet those challenges. And although it starts with the most challenging part of the job, in the end, when you find a solution and you do adapt and you do overcome, in the end it's also the most rewarding. So the final question, how is life on board? And how do you deal with being on board for a long time? It's an interesting one actually, because even being part of this project, my life on board is not that different to the thousands of other seafarers who are out there who are moving food or who are moving essential goods around the world at a very difficult time. And we're all without our family, we're all without our friends, and we're all without some of those little luxuries that you have at home. So in the end, it can be very difficult. But the other side of that is that we get to see amazing places, we get to see incredible wildlife, we get to go to parts of the world that most people will never see. So there's many positives that balance out some of those challenges that we have. I think in the end, the most important thing is to keep a good humour, and that's pretty easy on the Ocean Cleanup project because there's such an energy and enthusiasm for the project on board. Everybody who's part of it has a good feeling about the impact that we're having and about how important the project is to the world around us, so that keeps us going. You know, even if we have a very long and tiring day, in the end, that energy that we have for the mission stops it feeling too much like hard work. So that's all we had time for, but I just want to say thank you for all of the questions. It was great to read the questions that came in from all around the world, and the interest and enthusiasm of the community is what keeps us going. So please keep checking in on our progress. Thanks very much. Bye for now.